This is Arts Alive. I'm Linda Philippi, and my guests today are Chris McMillan of McMinimans and Dan Morrow of Movie Time Video, and they are here to talk about the upcoming UFO Festival and attendant film
UFO
festival.
Film festival, yeah.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
So Chris, do you want to start maybe by talking a little bit about the history of the UFO Festival in McMinnville?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Every time we open a McMinimans, we look into the history of the area, try to see if there's a way to tie our location to the history in the community, not just the history of the actual establishment. So actually went to the Historical Society and started bringing up a bunch of old news articles, and this UFO sighting in 1950 at the Trent Farm popped up. We were unaware of it, didn't realize that this actually in the UFO community, very famous UFO sighting had happened in the area. And so did a little bit more research, actually were able to interview the Trents, and we decided it'd be really fun to tie the two together. So this will be our 13th annual UFO festival. So 13 years ago we had a UFO speaker come out, and at the time we thought it was going to be just a really small event. We thought possibly we have a back room of the hotel. We thought maybe 30, 40 people would show up. Well, it ended up being a few hundred people, and people were lined up at the door. People were peering in from the outside just to get a look at this person. And that's when we realized that this was a much bigger event and that there was possibly a need in the area for something like this. There was a community of people that really enjoyed this. And it's grown every year, and every year there's been more involvement with the downtown area and other local community members. So it's been a really fun thing.
Yeah, that's great. I remember that first year, and I mean, it seemed like people were all over the street trying to get in, and I know that you always do music, entertainment, dance, whatever. There's a lot going on, but it does really seem like this community, for some reason, has really embraced the concept of the whole UFO thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I recall somebody at a parade, maybe last year or the year before, saying that our parade, our celebration in McMinnville is actually the second largest in the world after Roswell, New Mexico.
I know for sure in North America, so I can't speak to outside of that, but yes, it is. It's become, its reputation has grown, and I think part of that is that it's actually stayed true to the whole intention, which is to celebrate the 1950 sighting and not make fun of it or celebrate it in a positive way. It's a celebration, so.
It's not like it's the Loch Ness Monster, This is kind of an interesting thing. I was online and I was searching for images of McMinnville, okay? So searching for just images of McMinnville that would fit a certain size for, an article that I was working on. So Google Images, what comes up? What comes up are all the airplanes out at the Air Museum, okay, Evergreen, and pictures of the UFO parade. And, all these people like, green and purple and silver and I thought, okay, that's what we're famous for. And, then later on, several pages down, you get, IP&C and the little hanging flower baskets. But the top two things are the spruce goose and the UFO parade. So that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So what's the date of the festival this year?
It's May 18th and 19th, so Friday and Saturday. And festivities are pretty much all day, both days. This year, the only addition is on May 16th. We're going to do a history pub at Hotel Oregon. It'll be free, and our historian, Tim Hills, will actually come out and go over the whole history of the UFO Festival and show a video and do a question and answer starting at 7 o'clock. So that'll be a little bit different this year, but it'll also give people a chance to get a better appreciation for what the festival's about.
So that'll be on
That's a Wednesday.
And then will you still do will you have another speaker Friday night?
Oh, he'll just come out to talk about the festival. Friday we'll have one speaker in the evening, and then on Saturday we'll have two speakers, one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
And do we know who those speakers are going to be yet?
Yes. The first two speakers have been announced. We have Donald Schmidt. He is actually a Roswell expert. He's done research on Roswell. He's participated in some of the digs. And then the second speaker will be Yvonne Smith, so that'll be on Saturday morning. And she's a UFO abduction researcher. She also has a specialty in hypnotherapy. And then the third speaker, the one that we haven't announced yet, so this is the first time it's been announced,
Scoop?
Yeah,
Scoop?
we haven't put it out in our press packet yet, is
Okay.
Thomas Reed.
Okay.
And Thomas Reed has been abducted, and then it's a multi-generational thing. So son and a couple other members of his family, but it's been corroborated by law enforcement and other witnesses. So it's a very interesting dichotomy of speakers this year. We're very excited. I think we have a really excellent lineup.
Wow, that's going to be pretty exciting. And now, is there a fee for some of that stuff? You don't have to say the number because you can't say that.
That's, yes, there is.
Okay.
There are tickets available mid-March.
Okay, perfect. So people can go to your website and take a look if they're interested in that.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like you've really got a lot going on. It's not just a fun parade out there, which is something that the Downtown Association does. And I know that Chris Gullah will be on in a little while in this program to talk about that. But do we want to switch gears maybe a little and talk about what you're doing?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm representing the UFO Film Festival, and we're on our second year now. Last year we started it through our, am I allowed to say our business?
Sure.
Through Movie Time Video, and we were looking for a way with some other local businesses to kind of get more involved in the UFO Festival. And of course a video contest was kind of a natural outlet for us.
Yeah.
And so we spread that around to a lot of our customers. We had big support from Jerry Hunter, who owns the Moonlight Theater in town, and also APK Studios, who did all the graphics, did all the posters for us. So last year we got, I think we got 11 entries submitted, just from all local filmmakers, and we have categories for kids to submit entries and for adults, and we do prizes in both of those. So for our first year, I was really thrilled we got that many entries from out of nowhere, and hopefully this year we'll build a little momentum and have some more recognition, and you know, people will be more aware of it, since we've also done the short film festival last fall too. So I think local filmmakers are starting to tune into this a little bit.
You want to talk maybe a little bit about what some of the parameters are for this?
Sure, and everything that I'm covering here, people can get on McMinnvilleFilmFest.org is the website that we've set up. So all the judging forms and the entry forms and everything are out there. Anybody can go out there and sign up. The parameters are, it has to be an alien or sci-fi theme for the video. It has to be 15 minutes or less in length. And we have the under 18 category for kids of all ages to submit their work. And then there's 18 and over. And again, there'll be a $100 prize in each category.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And all the films that get submitted, depending on how many we get, we should be able to show them all at the 3rd Street Pizza Company, the Moonlight Theater. And those are going to run during the festival, I think, both the 18th and the 19th.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Great.
we had a pretty good turnout last year. It was free admission. Everybody could come in and watch just a running loop of all the films. So it's kind of fun. The kids submit their videos. They get to see them up on the big theater screen.
That's exciting,
so,
though.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool thing. And then we'll have all those to rent at our store for free after the festival's over, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll have each one individually, or you kind of loop them all together?
We compile them onto a DVD, so they can just rent a DVD, and right now you can go and you can get last year's entries if you want to come in and see what people submitted last year and who won and what the competition looks like. So that's all on one DVD, and it's a free rental.
Do people have to live in Yamhill County or Oregon, or is it from anywhere?
I don't have any restrictions on that. No, for the submitting the videos, no, there's no restrictions on that. I think our restriction is that it has to be produced since the beginning of 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But other than that, there's no real requirements, and they can send it to us on either a DVD or a mini DV tape, and we'll get them into the festival, and there's no cost to enter this one.
Have you talked to anybody who entered last year and you know they're going to enter again this year?
We've talked to a few people who've said they're interested. I haven't gotten any, firm commitments, but of course I know there are people who are working on some, and all the entries tend to come in right towards the very end, of course. But yeah, I know the interest is percolating out there, so yeah. And the entry deadline is April 25th to get the movies submitted to us.
You know what would be cool? I probably shouldn't say this because this will give somebody an idea, but I mean, if they wanted to do this for next year, is they could come and they could interview the people, the speakers, and they could incorporate that into like a little mini documentary thing.
Sure.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be great, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the speakers, they're just going to come in just for this event, so they won't be in
do.
town too much ahead of time.
No, they get flown in on Friday. So they are really here. They only stay Friday night and then they're gone Saturday. So a lot of these speakers are really hard to get and they have really tight schedules. So we're just really fortunate that they are able to come out and speak. So they usually do a tour on Friday and they're usually available on Friday night after the first speaker, so around 9 p.m. So in the past years, they've made themselves accessible for questions and people can come up and just sit with them and ask them anything they want. So.
I mean, I guess I have to say, I've always been amazed at how many people show up for those events. I mean, you wouldn't, I guess I personally would not have thought that there were that many people interested in the subject, but clearly I thought wrong because it's like it's getting more and more popular as the years go by. And the other thing too is, and we'll talk to Chris about this, is how many people really do get involved in the parade and want to put together a float and things like that. So did you get any entries in terms of anybody like filming anything about the parade or any of the floats, anything like that? Or that's not really the theme, though, is it?
No, they were all more like, fictional stories. We even had a couple that were animation, and they were all mostly, little either sci-fi adventures or, just little short films that people had made. And they weren't all from McMinnville. We had a couple of them from Salem that entered, and I think one or two from Portland. So, we've tried to spread the word out even to some local colleges and high schools to get people to submit their work. So yeah, they were all just original stories.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me because I know McMinimans does a fabulous job of marketing, in the archipelago, and every time you go to a McMinimans, you see pretty much all the events of the other McMinimans there. And so I'm sure that a lot of people do actually come from out of town for some of these speakers and things.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We try to make sure that we include some sort of marketing in national magazines that are themed towards the UFO topics, newspapers, etc. So radio stations, radio shows that are not necessarily the whole theme is based around UFOs, but that they do include that in their topics. So try to really make sure that we get that out there to the population that would be really interested in coming and seeing the speakers and enjoying the other festivities. I think that's one of the greatest things about this festival is that it's a combination of the people that are really, really serious about it and then the people that are here just to have fun, but they all intermix really well. And I think that's one reason this festival is so unique is it's just a really good time had by all.
I think it's just some people, are true believers and some people just like to dress up.
Yeah.
They just want to have a good time. So hopefully this will help spread the word about your film festival and you'll get some more entries. And I know there's lots of social marketing opportunities and things like that. So I'd like to thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And we'll take a little breather and we'll come back with our next guest.
All right.